Welcome to This Week Tonight. I'm your host, Raphael Stark. As many of you know, after a long and heated campaign, the United Kingdom has decided to leave the European Union in an event known as the Brexit. Well, the word Brexit is simply a portmanteau of the two words British exit. This campaign was extremely divisive in the United Kingdom, with the head of the Conservative Party, Prime Minister David Cameron, very publicly supported the vote to stay in the European Union, while many other conservatives voted to leave the European Union. The campaign even resulted in the assassination of a pro-Remain Labour Party member, Joe Cox. Now, while the results have come in that the United Kingdom voted to leave the EU by a narrow margin of 52% to 48%, plans for implementation, as well as other impacts of the vote, are still unfolding. Furthering the impact on the United Kingdom, despite the urges of many conservative pro-Leave and pro-Remain members of Parliament, Prime Minister David Cameron decided to resign from his position based on the results of the vote. This now opens up a slot for which Boris Johnson, a former mayor of London, seems intent to fill. Perhaps the best way to describe Boris Johnson is that he's the British Donald Trump. They even look similar, with both of them supporting similar policies. Another British party leader who may be replaced is Jeremy Corbyn, who is the leader of the Labour Party, which supported to stay in the European Union. Many are pressuring Jeremy to resign, following a lackluster Remain campaign, which resulted in a defeat. A topic which has drawn much attention is how the European Union Leave vote, which was fueled by a populist, anti-immigration, anger-driven campaign, relates to Donald Trump's campaign. With many parallels drawn between the two campaigns, Donald Trump hailed the Leave vote as the UK, quote, taking their country back, unquote.
I think I see a big parallel. I think people really see a big parallel. A lot of people are talking about that, and not only the United States, but other countries. People want to take their country back. They want to have independence in a sense, and you see it with Europe, all over Europe. You're going to have more than just, in my opinion, more than just what happened last night. You're going to have, I think, many other cases where they want to take their borders back. They want to take their monetary back. They want to take a lot of things back. They want to be able to have a country again. So I think you're going to have this happen more and more.
The similarity between the campaigns has many liberals in America fearing a similar turnout among a similar demographic over similar campaigns, allowing Donald Trump to win. Another interesting topic is whether the United Kingdom will completely survive this decision. For example, Scotland, which only a few months ago narrowly decided in a referendum to remain in the United Kingdom, overwhelmingly voted to stay in the European Union. This is likely to spawn a second referendum, during which Scotland may very well leave the UK. The UK will have an especially hard time denying this referendum, since one of the main pro-Leave arguments is that countries deserve self-governance. Also, you have the numerous economic effects of the UK leaving the EU, such as more tariffs on the UK goods in the EU, which is literally the world's single largest market. The stock market has already reacted negatively to the Brexit, with stocks crashing all around the world, some even hundreds of points. Furthermore, the British pound has been severely devalued, and various London stock futures have plummeted as well. The clash between the younger generation of voters has gotten especially intense following the referendum, with the youth having passionately supported to remain in the European Union, while the older generation supported to leave the European Union. Social media has been covered in enraged people complaining that the older generation has stolen the future of the UK youth. This has intensified the global clash between more progressive younger voters and more conservative older voters. However, in this topic more than maybe any other, the intergenerational divide has exploded out into the open. In the aftermath of the vote, many people began complaining that the older voters had no right to decide the future of the youth, seeing as they weren't the ones who would have to deal with the long-term effects of their decision. Furthermore, older voters were using this vote as a way to retaliate against the elite politicians, who were being seen as the engineers of the European Union, without considering or caring about the consequences on future generations. Also, with the threat of a major economic crisis looming, the youth, whom we know from previous market crashes, are the most likely to lose their jobs, seeing as they usually have the least stable ones. The youth are terrified that they will have to pay the price for the depression, since they will be the ones losing their jobs instead of their elders, whose votes seem to have caused all this. All this is without even considering the consequences this will have on the EU itself, with this situation being doubtlessly the loss of one of the most influential, wealthy, and powerful members of the EU, and will have vast impacts on the economy, influence, and unity of the European Union. Also, the President of the United Kingdom leaving the EU may lead to other Eurosceptic nations such as Greece, France, and the Netherlands to exit the EU as well. The full extent of the Brexit remains to be seen as events that are still unfolding, and will definitely affect the course of European and global history. I'm Raphael Stark, and thanks for watching.